Welcome to Gen X Rated Tuesday edition. Normally I'd be referring to Uncle Bill, but today we've got a seat filler. Tim is with us again. Good to have you, Tim.
Thanks again for the invite. It's been a while, but hope you're well, and I'm sure everybody will miss Uncle Bill.
Well, certainly. I already miss him. No slight to yourself, but he is full of a ton of knowledge and usually knows what I'm going to say before I'm going to say it. So you don't have to fill those shoes. Just bring your special variety to it, and we'll be great.
Well, again, I appreciate the invite.
Of course. Glad to have you. So, I mean, we could start really anywhere. I hate to just jump into current events, but we saw yesterday anything from Trump's vaccines, which seemed like kind of a weird thing for him to be focusing on since we're at war. But that was yesterday's topic. He seems to always have his cabinet around him, which is kind of weird. I don't know about the flight attendant who's behind him. Some people have said that she is an influencer, which is above my pay grade, but others speculated she was a robot. Others thought that she had a button. Her hand never left her stomach, and maybe that was something to wake Trump up because he had a lot of trouble staying awake yesterday. Sleepy Joe has a great nickname, but I feel like he wouldn't have gotten away with this kind of sleepy time. I mean, it's crazy. Any thoughts?
Well, I think, again, when you do those types of things and you do those things in front of a camera or in front of video, whatever, shouldn't it be respectful to introduce people that everyone may not recognize, or at least say, I'd like to welcome or something? Isn't that just a matter of normalcy and respect to say, I appreciate everybody watching me do this, or I appreciate everyone being here. I'd like to introduce so-and-so. Why is it so important to have everyone guess and wonder and keep, doing things that seem just not right?
And it just gets weirder because here's this group. Speculation was one, the activist, conservative activist, flight attendant looking scarf girl is a robot, which if you can manipulate anything. It did seem kind of odd. They pointed out that the Indian gentleman could have been Dr. Oz, and then the woman on the right was Caroline Levitt. I mention this because it's so ludicrous. It sounds pretty crazy, but here's something. You can support the president. That's great. But if you were a true believer in this gentleman, maybe you'd show him a little bit less. We see so much of him all the time. I know he's the Trojan horse. I know that you got the people behind him are the one pushing policy straight off the program that we knew was going to be coming regardless, with all these policies on vaccination and on getting rid of public education, the environment that we don't care about, etc. But maybe just show him less. I mean, he just seems not well. And I don't take any glee in that. But I do feel like it's hard to imagine this guy making good choices, representing us as a nation. This guy's a tough talker. He wants to take on the, tearing up the reflecting pool, etc. Here he is. Every president has threats against them. You don't hear about them. I think Obama, there were 7 attempts to get after him, but it's not something you hear about. This guy went to the new art of faking them. Butler seemed pretty ridiculous, but the fear factor's there. I mean, how many people golf and have, anti-aircraft launchers on the green with you? It doesn't show much strength. Definitely shows weakness to me. The story that came out today from July 8th was the fact that Trump leaving Turkey, when he left that whole NATO thing, he took the new Air Force One that Qatar gave him, and then we paid $800 million to retrofit so that he'd be safe. Wasn't safe enough. Turns out today that we heard that he was hiding in a catering cart. He did allow his minions, the staff, etc., to get on that plane in case it was targeted. Clearly, he didn't really care. But it seems kind of cowardly and doesn't seem very presidential. He did take Natalie Harp with him, the diaper lady. Or diaper genie, whatever. Looks like his daughter. Very strange. To that end, we've seen Melania 38 times. Go ahead.
No, I just think to your point, maybe try a little quality over quantity, and that might do wonders for everyone. And it might get us back to a little bit of worthiness, instead of, to your point, showing everything. A little quality over quantity goes a long way.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. We're just being told that this last night, in fact, that the straits are open. We control them. That is not a thing. Iran has said that they're just going to wait this guy out. They've been in existence for thousands of years, so I really don't think that that's a threat that they won't hold up. I think they know how unpopular this guy is. I think the midterms is kind of what they're waiting for. They said they could wait till 2029. The downside is we can't. We talk great about oil. It's so cheap. We're stealing it from Venezuela. Did I say stealing? Taking, gifted from Venezuela. It's not really useful, but it is. Trump did pull in $1 billion from it. Nobody knows where that went. But the whole point is that crude oil is one thing. They're keeping the barrels costs down, but it's really about the diesel fuel. We saw it during the first Iraq war. Diesel fuel was super expensive. Why would that be? Well, because the military uses it. If we can gouge the military, that's what we're going to do. So you're looking at 80% of freight by weight is sent by crude. 80% of global trade moves by sea using diesel fuel. Farming, mining, we need it. We can't afford to be without it. And we're acting like it's no big deal. Meanwhile, we're paying $4 billion to stop wind power, solar power fields that were almost operational. They had to sue him for that to get that in the Northeast where the project was almost over. Seems very short-sighted. And I just want to bring this up because this is, you and I are all about data. And I feel like we're given so much poor data that you can't make an educated decision. You can't even, I know Trump works from his gut. That may be great for him. But as a country, you really need correct information to be able to make a judgment one way or the other, whether you're left, right, center. It doesn't really matter. If you don't have the facts, you really don't know what you're choosing. And I feel like we're really stuck in that right now.
Well, I think that is the point and has been the motive or the target of this podcast since day one. You do a great job sharing information. You do a great job sharing data. And that's what people need. And that's what educated people need. And that's what is important. And I think to your point, what gets lost in that is if diesel fuel continues to raise, we look at things tunnel visioned and it's like, okay, well, gas prices are this, diesel's this or whatever, but it's the trickle down or the trickle up effect that people need to understand and aren't necessarily told about. Yeah. And that's why I think you do a great job with this podcast to try to educate and try to inform. And I think that, if diesel prices continue to go up, there's got to be a trickle up, a trickle down effect to everything that's received or everything that's transported by truck has to go up because trucking companies, individual drivers can't afford to pay for the gas or the fuel. They have to support themselves and something's got to give. And, that's, I think, what gets missed so many times. We want to look at tunnel vision to say, oh, fuel's going up. Okay, there's lots of reasons for it, but we don't ever understand and focus on the long term or the trickle up or the trickle down effect.
Yeah, and it's easy again for this administration to just say, I was in Iowa, gas was $1.98, gas was $1.95. These are just outright lies. Now, maybe he sees it in his sleep. I don't know, but I'd rather know what the facts are. We're paying about $3.69 now. Generally, it's closer to $4. That's a number that you can kind of wrap your mind around. But when he starts giving discounted prices and then going after the oil company saying, hey, you should make less money, that sounds kind of ridiculous. They're all in it to make money. I don't think that he can wave his magic wand and have them take less profit. But as he's demanding that, he's spending on ridiculous stuff. the ballroom's a mess. The legal system will be our checks and balance, but it takes time. They went after that Olympian for the reflecting pool that he damaged it. Perino said no, or Perio, whatever her name is, Judge Weinbach's, finally had to disagree. They have no video of it. It didn't actually happen, but he's sticking to it. Now he's got Blanche in the seat, the Department of Justice, because Casey was such a delicate flower and decided to put him in based on abortion rights, and has nothing to do with his honesty or the Epstein files, which is why he's there to begin with. And he'll come out and do whatever Trump wants. So he's going to delay it through the legal process. Blanche said, hey, what's wrong with elections having Border Patrol there or having ICE at the polling stations? This is all un-American, as they're pushing the subject that the Democrats are a bunch of communists. I mean, how ridiculous is that?
Yeah, it's there's got to be some continuity, right? And we've said it before, and you've said it on this podcast many times. The country was founded on disagreements, and the country was founded on differences of opinion. And the sooner we start recognizing that, the better that we're going to be. That there are differences of opinions, and everybody deserves to have one.
For sure. And usually that'll lead to some positive outcome. You give a little, I give a little, and then we get somewhere in the middle. Not everything has to be about getting to the middle. Sometimes you're just outright wrong, and I'm right. But to your point, yes, it was never like a kumbaya moment as a nation. I think it was Ben Franklin's kid was on the other side trying to take him out. It started the early stages. Now all of a sudden we are supposed to believe that they wanted, Christ and religion in our Constitution and all this other nonsense. That doesn't make sense. If you're a believer, that's great. I'm all about you having your religious freedoms. Super. It has nothing to do with the Constitution, and that's what we're getting away from. People are losing their rights. We're all over immigration. I think they had 51,000 arrests just last month. And what does that turn around and do? It increases wealth for the private prisons. They're making $1.5 billion a quarter to house these people. And I wouldn't say they're doing a great job of it. One statistic came out today about ICE. They want to give 4 cities. There's $300 million that they'll split between 4 cities if you let them come in, kind of like Memphis style. You give up all your woke ideas for this, and they will give you, I guess, a quarter of the $300 million. You have to change your policies. You have to embrace conservative policies, which are anti-homeless rules, and they'll give you some money. But that includes mayors, sheriffs, city council, county commissions. You have to be all in. And that sounds kind of Gestapo-y, sounds very weird to me. And these private prisons benefit the most. I will say I have a sample of 59 ICE agents that they did, the ACLU did background checks on them. 85% of them had committed sex offenses. A third of those were against children. So I know I've seen the Trump supporters with their I don't care if he's a pedophile shirt, but I do think the majority of Americans can agree that children are off limits. These files will come out, whether it's a foreign government that's going to release them because we don't have the courage to do it ourselves. We've seen our Senate does not have the cojones to do it, and they won't. But it is an issue that's really driven this war. It's driven a lot of the policy, and it's hurt, the American public in general.
Yeah, well said. And again, those are the things that it's important just to, again, give people data and something to think about. Because again, there should not be sides when it comes to children. Just
there's no gray area. It's
that's what I'm saying. There's no gray area.
I'm with you 1,000%. I just find it a little bit shocking that we'll accept that for our team winning. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago about how 2% at any time of parents will read to their children. We've really gotten away from reading in general. Everything's reels, everything's on the gram. That can be entertaining, but it does start to chip away at our ability to have any kind of deeper thoughts about matters. It's just about right or wrong, black and white. We don't have any critical thinking. We can't dig a little bit deeper to maybe find some kind of compromise where we both agree on anything because I'm right and you're wrong. And that's kind of where we're getting hung up now because we just don't have the depth to be able to have these dialogues and even to make change. How do you create change if you can't agree on literally anything? You just can't.
No, and if we don't have a future of critical thinkers, we think we have problems now.
Well, and we're not employing any of these people is the other thing. You know, we told everybody to get into STEM, 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 STEM. These kids spend a lot of money to get a degree. And then we turn around and say, oh, well, you know what? Those universities are woke. I'm homeschooling. All these schools do are teach, you know, woke policy and trans everything and men and women's sports. It's the same score sheet that they read off of that's ridiculous. We've talked about this. There were maybe 8, no more than 10 trans people involved in women's sports. Riley Gaines is making a career out of coming in 5th place. Sorry you weren't a better swimmer, but it had nothing to do with the one athlete that joined that swim meet. But it's a target. We can point at somebody else. We can blame somebody else. And then we feel better about ourselves, but it doesn't create any change. And it's really not improving anybody's current lifestyle or how we live.
No.
I mean, look at you fruits and vegetables. Eat. Now you're got cyclosporia. Missouri's 3rd. We're number 3 and pushing hard. I don't know how you fix that. They had a meeting, as we talked about, with Taylor Farms. Money talked. It was a false negative. It's still going on. Trader Joe's, Aldi's, the salsa is bad. The guacamole is bad. Like, where do we draw the line on what you can eat? And I'm eating berries every day. So I'm rolling the die every day. I wish I had a government that really gave 2 cares about the citizens of this country that are eating this food. We talked about a couple weeks ago about farmers market. Get your local produce. That's great. But it's not it's not your responsibility to find farmers markets. You should have a safe alternative. We have food deserts in the city where people can't get decent food. I mean, what are we doing here? Do I have to pay more? Is it like when San Diego tried to privatize the fire department? If I have a fire at my house, I now have to pay my own fire company to come put it out, but they're not going to save my neighbor's house that maybe flared up. I mean, is that socialism? That we had public schools, that we have public roads, that we have fire and police departments? Like, where do we draw the line?
Well, I think, Rob, is that consumer issues, consumer recalls, consumer hazards, again, have been around forever. Yeah. Things happen. And I will tell you, it's not that difficult to trace back to what happened. It's not that difficult to segregate potential or even anything that's been contaminated. Traceability studies go on every day. So the fact that we're however many weeks into the lettuce or the vegetable thing, and we still don't have any concrete data or anything to say, that's substantial to say this is where it started, this is where it's coming from, this is the lot number of material that's been affected. We can guarantee you that all that lot number of material has been dumped, destroyed, whatever, but we can't guarantee that there's not some of that lot of material that has already been sold.
Sure.
Be careful. But again, why do we have to monkey around with misinformation?
And to your point,
no.
To your point, they do have, like when Trader Joe's had salmonella in their chicken, it was frozen products that would have been put out months ago. You had a lot number, to your point, where you could go check. Hey, if you have this in the freezer, get rid of it. Now we just say, the lettuce was coming out of Mexico. And that's it. No tracing of it, no what farms it came through, because we kind of protect them, right? And again, those are the companies that come into the White House and start throwing money around just so you'll look the other way type of thing. We've never had this lack of traceability in our food chain. We would think that a foreign country that wanted to do us harm might do something like that. and you would regulate it and you would monitor it. But we just don't do that. Instead, we're spending money hand over fist on arches and ballrooms and flagpoles and everything else, as our national debt has hit $40 trillion.
And that's my point again. Having an issue with a consumable product is not new. It happens. It's going to happen. Companies prepare for it every day. There's audits to make sure that companies are prepared for it every day. So to not have some type of solid data, again, we go back to data to say this is what it is, and it makes zero sense. And it's frustrating as a consumer, that sure, I can stay away from something, but I kind of have to know what I'm staying away from, right?
For sure. That's kind of like here where they wanted to take away the state income tax, which was crushed. 81% hated it, did not pass as an amendment. But the idea was that, hey, you're not going to pay that, but we're going to tax you on other things. And then the business side says, hey, well, you can choose not to purchase toilet paper, paper towels, fruits, vegetables. Like, you have a choice if you want to pay on this. And what we are finding out is that with the tariffs, now granted, corporations received $128 billion back in a tariff refund, but that was really our money. I'm paying a tariff tax. I'm also paying with a credit card. Now I'm paying another 3% that goes to a tariff tax. Most companies, if they wanted to cut that fee, Amex was the most expensive, and you would hear complaints about it. Could you use MasterCard, Visa? I get that. But now everybody's paying for that because we got to make up money somewhere. We don't have the tax base, and this is a different story, and we can talk about it another time. But as we're producing less people in this country, your tax base is going away. We're never going to catch up to this $40 trillion. And we're certainly not going to do it when we start taking away tax money that you pay in your own states individually. I don't know. I don't understand the thought process, but I do know that eventually you run out and you can't catch up. And that becomes a problem for everybody, except for maybe these guys on their yachts and the 100 billionaires that are doing pretty well right now.
Yeah, that's a whole podcast in and of itself.
No, you're right. And somebody did talk about that, about the population. I find that somewhat interesting. Is that why they want to restrict laws on a woman's choice? Because they need these children. I'm not going to go into it with ICE, but we do know that there's facilities in Texas that have underage girls and young teens that are being impregnated. They did come out, ICE, and said, hey, we can't control the facilities type of thing. That doesn't seem like a good response to me. I will put that up. But my point being, they keep the kids and they deport the women. It's not made up stuff. It is extremely un-American and disturbing that this is allowed to happen under the guise of we're protecting you. We need to get rid of brown people. It just, we're all brown somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's just stupid. But like you said, story for another day. I will point out that we talk about all these manufacturing jobs, how great the economy is, amazing, amazing, amazing. I haven't seen any of these factories being built that Trump talks about. Lutnick said we'd be over 6% GDP this quarter. 1.5%? They were hoping for 2%, which is pretty sad as the national debt grows. China is manufacturing 28% of all global goods. That's more than the US, Japan, and Germany combined. You're not going to catch up by bringing Toyota to California or Texas or whatever. It's a pipe dream. And I really, to our discussion, the data, it's just not supporting what they're saying.
And that's disturbing too. But again, the information's out there, and every company every year has to supply a statement of sales, earnings, whatever. So it's all out there, and it's about, again, giving people the information that they need to make decisions. And you can't deny whatever the company is, XYZ company, whatever. If their sales are down, their sales are down. And it's more about the whys than, trying to figure out what to do about it.
Well, and
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's again, Rob, things aren't that hard, but it's frustrating that things just become more and more difficult with each passing day. If my sales are down, I have to look for ways to bring them up, whatever it may be. But it just doesn't happen, and it never did, and it never will.
Yeah. Well, that sounds pretty common sense. If you can't bring up your sales, you generally get fired, or your company goes away.
That's right.
Leads me to the consumer quality products we had talked about briefly. You used to. I'm going to start with Ben and Jerry's amazing ice cream. Two brothers, or yeah, Ben and Jerry, and it was an amazing product. Then all of a sudden, they were bought by Unilever, and the product starts to change. They start to use different ingredients. We did a whole podcast on why you can't call things chocolate when it's more like choco, because it's fake stuff. It's not really ice cream. It's a cream, dairy product type of thing. And we started finding, you have these founders that build these great products that they really care about, and then you find loyalty through brand. Then before you know it, these brands are bought by private equity. And maybe the owner retires, or maybe he just gets an offer he can't refuse type of thing. I get that, and it's not on them, but you're never necessarily told that. This is information you kind of have to hunt down. And then we're all about shareholders. So these companies, we're going to be okay with the shitty product if it's making money for the shareholders. That all of a sudden became acceptable. Instead of having a quality product that people can depend on, now you get a backpack, the zipper breaks on the majority of them. Or you have a baking dish that's going to shatter after the third use, because we don't care. It's not on their radar to change that culture. They just, we know private equity comes in, they drain all the resources as much as they can, and then they get rid of the company. That's not healthy. That's not healthy for the workers. It's not healthy for the consumers. And as a nation overall, it just doesn't work. But we're here.
Product quality, as you know, is near and dear to my heart.
I do.
And any company that wants to, in any way, shape, or form, for whatever reason, compromise quality is extremely, extremely dangerous. And to your point about private equity and trying to make money, that may last for a short time. But if you're willing to compromise and sacrifice quality, it's not sustainable, and it won't last, because consumers are smart. Consumers know what they like, and consumers are going to pay for what they like regardless. They may complain about it, but let's just take Ben and Jerry's, for example. I used to love it, but I noticed some changes, and I've noticed some ingredient additions, some ingredient subtractions.
Yeah.
Actually. And I don't buy it anymore. But if it was the same quality, I don't care if they raise the price $2, $3, $4.
Sure.
But
if you like Chunky Monkey, you're going for it.
Consumers are not stupid. They will pay for what they like, albeit, again, they'll complain about it, but they'll understand it. Versus trying to, it's the kiss of death, man. If you sacrifice quality, it's a kiss of death. And it's just a matter of time where patience will run out and consumers will go to something else. Because if they're going to have to overpay for the lack of quality or the sacrifice quality, they might as well go and save a few bucks and get the same low quality stuff someplace else.
The store brand sometimes can be even better. I will say to the ice cream part, Haagen-Dazs, 5 ingredients, you know what they are, and you feel okay buying it, maybe paying a little bit more of a premium because
100%.
This is what I'm getting.
Which I do.
Yeah. And I tried to buy ice cream, but I do want to read through the ingredients. And if I don't know half of them, I don't think you need to have more than 5 or 6 to begin with. So you're right. Eventually, we all wisen up to what we're being fed. And to your point, the quality, the taste, it's different. You use worse ingredients, it's noticeable. And you can get by that for a little bit. I'm going to keep buying it until I'm like, you know what, this really does taste like crap. Then I'm out.
Exactly. And that's why I said, Rob, it's just a matter of time. And you might as well, getting back to your private equity statement, they better make the money while they can, because eventually it people aren't going to go back to it, and they're going to stop buying it, and then all bets are off.
Well, and I don't think that their goal is, as you say, to be in it forever. I mean, we see it. They shut down these businesses within 18 months, and they take as much as they can. That includes selling off whatever inventory you have, not to mention office supplies, fill in the blank. We're going to take it all, and then we're going to be bankrupt, and you can go find another job type of thing. But that doesn't work when you're trying to have a middle class to keep people in the workforce. I mean, we're seeing women on more payrolls currently than men are. We did see that during COVID. We did see that during the great financial crisis of 2008, 2009. But these are trends that are coming back, and it makes you wonder why. It makes you wonder why we can't pay decent wages, but we can take money from the parks to put it into these, crazy little Trump projects that he loves that are so important. Just one statistic: the National Park Service records showed that in 2004 there was $7 million that was allotted to the White House grounds projects and upgrades. 2026, $323 million for these pet projects. They don't better your air quality. They don't better your work environment. They don't better your water quality. It does nothing for us except these vanity projects. That $323 billion could be used for universal health care for all. Israel has it. We fund for their education for all their citizens. We fund for all their health care for their citizens, but we can't get that here, which to me is very disappointing. And again, short-sighted, as we say that we're the best, we're amazing. It's just hard to back that up with data or facts at this point.
Well, I think, again, getting back to the quality discussion, whether you're talking about parks, whether you're talking about companies, no matter what you're talking about, again, you have to keep it simple. And I know that sounds somewhat ridiculous and it sounds like, but anything has to start with safety, quality, and production. You can break things down, no matter what it is, into those 3 buckets. And if you pay attention to those 3 buckets, again, things speak for itself, right? You have to pay attention to it. If you don't focus on safety, let's say take the parks. If you don't focus on safety, quality, and production, where are the parks going to go? Safety, number 1, that's, again, speaks for itself. Quality has to speak for itself in terms of the parks. And then production, it takes a village and an army to make sure the parks stay up to the standards that they've always been.
And that's not happening, as we know. I mean, what is that, a summer job? What, do you live in your mom's basement? Those insults to park rangers and people that work at the parks, it's offensive. We're spending in Big Bend National Park here all this cash. I don't know if you can see that mountain range, but to me, that's a pretty intimidating wall. I don't think you need to plow out all the vegetation and put literally a wall that we're paying for in a national park. It's offensive.
Well, I mean, just whoever took the picture got a nice shot of diesel smog. So,
good eye.
I mean, come on.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, again, everything comes back. The executive feels the pressure because they need to make the shareholders' returns happen. whether that's by using cheaper product, whether that's lessening safety measures, or to your point, production. All of those are losers. None of that is a winner for the actual consumer. Meanwhile, these corporations' profits are record high. I mean, the first quarter, $3.9 trillion. That's not chump change, and it's coming from somewhere. And I do believe it's coming out of my pocket.
One way or another.
For sure. It's just, it's a little bit much. I think we're getting away. I like that you use the word simple because it can be simple. And you can keep things simple and also have a great product. You don't have to get too out in the woods. But again, you have to find that out for yourself because you're not really given the data outright.
So and again, a point to that, it's easy to say in terms of a product, it ain't broke, so don't fix it. Well, that only goes so far too, because to live with that philosophy, you can get yourself sideways really quick too, because if you don't focus then on efficiencies and all the other things that are required to make those products. So you have to maintain the quality standard and try to get your profits or try to get your margins someplace else. And it takes brain power to work on the efficiencies. It takes brain power to make changes. And you don't necessarily, the easy part is to go immediately to, well, let's just get rid of some people or let's do with less people. Well, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. But again, you can't just operate under the it ain't broke, don't fix it philosophy because of all the outside variables that come into play.
Sure. And we're constantly evolving, and you want the product to get better if it can. But the key word that you talked about was brain trust. I mean, you do have discussion. People are able to speak and maybe come to some kind of, rationale, how to make something better. I'm not saying status quo is where it's at, but it's a good place to start. I feel like because of this, consumer confidence is at an all-time low, 74-year low. Seems very understandable. We made it through the lockdown of 2020, the financial crisis of 2008, and also the inflation of the 80s, which interest rates were 18%. We had higher confidence. And to me, that comes from not being told the truth on anything. How can you have any confidence in anything when you're just being lied to? We say we're the richest, all this money, you're not even gonna have to start saving for retirement in 5 or 6 years because we're gonna have so much wealth. 43% of Americans aged 34 to 44 employed by a private company, not the government, which they love to say, oh, we trim off government workers, don't have a retirement plan. 40% of those 45 to 54, no retirement plan. And 40% of workers 55 to 65, which you used to be able to retire at 55, no retirement plan. That's scary. If you're counting on Social Security, which they think is an entitlement program, though you've paid into it and it's come out of your pocket every paycheck, it's still not enough to survive in the environment that we're living in, as expensive as things are. My electric bill was $560. I know it's been hot here, ridiculous. It was $150 more than it was the month before. And I started complaining several months ago when I hit $400, like what in the world is happening? But I was told that if I put a data center in my backyard, I'd be rolling in energy and money and it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I think, again, I think that's a really good topic for a podcast on its own. And I think the whole retirement thing is very, very scary, and it's very, very intimidating.
Life-changing.
It's life-changing. And I think the biggest factor is pick an age, 50, 55. The issue is, to me, is that you can be 50 or 55 and plan on retiring at 60, 65, or whatever number, pick the number. The issue is that the goalpost continuously moves.
Yeah.
And that's extremely frustrating for anyone that's getting close to retirement because they want to know. They want to know what they need. And I know the answers and I know the questions that are always asked. But it's very, very important. Again, it's that transparency thing. Tell people, educate people properly so that they can prepare the best way they can and stop moving the goalposts frequently.
Yeah, I would agree. Some kind of consistency would be nice. That's where there's a whole thing called financial planning that people do. They plan for retirement.
Of course.
H&R Block, I saw the commercials all the time. Well, you can't do that if you don't know what the future holds. And we are not consistent. And to your point about moving the goalposts, how can you wrap your mind around it when you don't know what energy costs are going to be? Food prices are, off the charts or become scarce. I mean, how can you feel confident in letting go of a paycheck when you don't know what the future holds? It's difficult.
That's my point, Rob.
You may not have a choice, though, right?
That's my point. You could always prepare for, and you understood inflation. Things are going to go up. You always could prepare for it. You knew that, right? You knew that the price of a car, if you're 50 years old, you can bet that the price of a car is going to go up. You don't know how much, but you know. And there's really no way to prepare. But again, it's the things that the normal inflationary things, let's just call it normal inflation.
Okay.
You could somewhat prepare for that because you knew and could expect it. It's all this unknown stuff that just keeps happening that you cannot prepare for. And that's, again, what I use as scary.
Well, and it's changing every day. I mean, they have to change the grift every day.
Yes.
And that really makes it hard to keep up. And it also makes it hard when corporate media is the ones feeding you your information. I mean, it's the toughest thing. I refer to a lot of European press just because they're at least going to try and give it to you straight. When they do talk to Trump, occasionally they'll ask him the hard questions. Now he tells them they're terrible people and that their news organization sucks. That's a good way of not answering it. But the reality is a lot of these questions need to be answered for us to have any kind of future, not just this golden age thing they've been talking about. It's just silly. Wage growth has slowed to 3.2%. It's the lowest in 5 years. Let's blame Biden. High inflation. You have less purchasing power. Let's blame Biden. I mean, how long is this going to go on? Trump, has his ways of making money, but he doesn't take a salary. So that's amazing. Well, that's $1.6 million over 4 years that he's not taking, but he's stealing everything else on the table. It's crazy. And I don't know how you rationalize it and make it okay.
Well, again, I think it just comes down to giving people the information that they need to have and being transparent and giving people good information, whether the news, the topic, or whatever is good or bad.
And this isn't new. Obama's first run through, Jon Stewart was giving some of the best news. Sure, it seemed comical, but it was actual factual, and it was presented in a way that people could understand. I see Fox News, Fox Business. We added 23,000 jobs. They're like, oh, this is amazing. They can make anything sound terrific, but that wasn't a whole lot of jobs. The economy's not plowing on through amazingly, humming like a Corvette. It's just not. But if you're going to be told that, then it alleviates your fears at least till the next day. And then what do we wake up and find the next day? God only knows. But it's been changing every day. More misinformation. KK Caroline came out and talked about this generation doesn't want to work and they're spoiled and whatever. Sure, she married a multi, 100 millionaire fellow who's 60. Great for her. But to say that this generation doesn't deserve the same courtesy of job opportunity, of an environment that you can actually live in, where you can buy a house, you can buy a car, maybe you can have a parent stay at home with a kid and not necessarily homeschool them, don't get me wrong, but You used to be able to do that. And I don't think that that's such a terrible thing. And I think if you choose that lifestyle, you should have that option. And we don't have that. We have 30-year-olds living at home. It's just not affordable. Housing's not affordable. Trump says he doesn't care. Those bills don't get pushed forward. And I will say this, on all these executive orders, they don't mean anything. These are not legal anythings. This is him speaking. This is him wishing. This doesn't make it so. So these aren't laws that are going to stick. It's just theater, which is what we do. That's why you had robot woman there in the scarf. I mean, she looked like a flight attendant. I'm not criticizing her by any means, but who are you? Why are you here? Do you even have kids? Does this pertain to you? Vaccinations? And then they spew lies about that as Trump falls asleep. We could go on all day. I'm not going to do it because I told you I'd keep it short with you today, but you did get me going there, Tim.
Well, I didn't necessarily, that wasn't the intent. I just think, again, is that you have to give people credit for what they know, and you have to give people credit for what they don't know. And leadership is responsible for giving people what they need. If I need information and I know it, fine. But I need information if I don't know it more.
So I go to the CDC and they don't have any information. Or I go to Homeland Security to find out about how to travel safely, and there's no real information there. I mean, we're losing the institutions that used to inform us, and now we're just trusting one guy who's on TV way too much, lying to us constantly.
So again, I didn't mean to get you riled up, but again, everything that you're saying it makes sense, and it's practical, which is probably part of the problem. Because a lot of things we're doing is not practical, and it's not in the best interest of who is it in the best interest of? I don't even know.
1/10 of 1% are doing really well. But yeah, usually the guys at the top, and then the guys at the very bottom feel like, hey, the guys that are even below us are the problem, not our overlords. So anyway, I will stop on that because we could go all day about the wealth inequality and lack of jobs for graduating people who went to woke universities, etc. But we won't. Any happy ending? I'm just going to throw out one. You'll never have another Sunday without football. If that's your sport. It started Thursday with the Hall of Fame game last week, and you'll have football throughout the season. So that's kind of exciting.
I do love football, especially college football. So I am looking forward to that. And I guess if I do have a happy ending is that I know that The Odyssey is a very, very, very popular movie. I did go see it, and it is very good. The cinematography and the visual is absolutely fantastic. But unless I'm extremely old, which I am, bring earplugs. It's super loud.
And you saw it on an IMAX.
Yes, I did.
On screen. So
yep.
It's supposed to be pretty impressive. I know Billy saw it and really liked it. 3 hours, that's quite a commitment, but I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, it's very good. But again, just a word of caution. If, be prepared for extremely, extremely loudness, if that's the proper English term. But to your point, it is very good, and it does add to it, but a little too much.
All right. Well, I'll take that under advisement, and I may have to watch it at home when it eventually gets there, not the IMAX.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it again at home. I can control the sound versus trying to stuff a napkin in my ears.
Good deal. Well, Tim, I certainly appreciate you joining me. Uncle Bill's been filling up. His schedule is very busy, and I'm going to wait him out because I will take him anytime he's available. But it was nice catching up with you, and I'd be happy to have you come back anytime you might be available.
Well, I appreciate the invite, and again, I appreciate you taking it upon yourself to educate, and I appreciate the way that you're trying to educate people, and you do a great job with it, and I hope that people appreciate it too.
Well, I appreciate that. You're always very kind and, pumping up the show, which I appreciate. We do our best. I mean, we're here to inform. I'm not, like you said, I'm not here to tell you what to think, but here's some information, and then we can talk about it. So I appreciate
100%.
you taking the time to talk to me through it. A lot of these topics that I find upsetting, and always good talking to you regardless.
Same here.
All right, Tim, I will talk to you soon, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
You do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
See ya.